John gets to sit next to me. What's up? Yeah, sorry, John. Sorry. Hello.
How are you?
Well, hey. All right. I know. Oh.
Okay. One of my favorite attorneys.
It took me. Did you have like my dear friend?
Oh, they're just sitting people next to me. So I guess we're still waiting for longer.
As soon as our solicitor comes back, we'll open the meeting, so I'll just give him a couple seconds here.
Jared, does Leo usually get a book?
Right.
Does Leo usually get a binder? I just took his because I'm.
There's an extra one down. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Everybody, Rich, I'm good.
Can we open the meeting with the pledge of allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Jared.
Commissioner Yannette.
Here.
Vice Chair Lee.
Here.
President Lubinski.
Here.
Commissioner Velarde.
Yep.
Commissioner Wynot.
He was trying to dial on. You're switching from the other one.
Oh, did we cut that call off back there?
I don't know how to do that.
I just know how to do that.
You're the IT guy.
I could just like unplug it.
I could do that too. Or a ham.
Unplug it, plug it back in.
Or a ham.
Didn't that fix everything?
That's usually my secret. I mean,
Probably not.
so the computers and everything else, TV. Yeah.
See, why not?
No, that's me. And then this would be the. I don't like it. I do. I bothered Leo enough this week. Only on Mondays.
Every other Monday, first and third Monday.
So we were just talking about. He said you stink like.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. What's this? The one we got in our book.
It's on this one. The one in spoke. Of
course.
She's.
Audio. Mute my.
Commissioner Wynot? Commissioner Wynot?
Here. Okay, moving on, under announcements, we have nothing this evening. Under public comment, non-agenda items. Limit to 3 minutes per person. Please state that your name and if you're a Pocono Township resident. See somebody back there. Yes. Surprised about what?
He's flipping. Sorry, he just flipped the mic up.
Hello. Good evening. Charles Kepler, Commissioner-elect. I want to start out by thanking everyone who came out to vote on Election Day. It was an incredible night for me, for my family, for this entire community. This community wanted something different, and I want to be that's something different, that breath of fresh air, that detachment from the way things have always been done, and a move towards something different and something better for our community. There's so much work to be done here in Pocono Township, and I think I'm just the person to do it. And I look forward to serving each and every person in this community. Please feel free to reach out if you ever need anything, if you ever have any questions, because I want to be a leader who is transparent and accountable to the public, and I want to be here for you, for each and every one of you, because you are the people I'm here to serve. Now, I also want to address the Board of Commissioners. The public sent a very clear message with my election and Matt's election. They want something different. They expect more from this board. They expect transparency. They expect them to be serving the public. They expect them to be protecting our environment. And most of all, they expect them to be serving the people, not just their friends. Now, tonight, this Board of Commissioners will have several opportunities to recommit themselves to the public. And I will get up each and every time I feel that there's an opportunity for this board to do the right thing for the people. And I'll say what I think it is. And I think most people in this audience will agree with me when I do. And I hope that this board thinks about the way they're voting and votes the way the community would want them to vote, because that's who you're here to serve. Many of you are going to be up for re-election in 3 years. And I implore you to please think about how you're voting and how it's going to affect your constituents and what it's going to mean for the future of Pocono Township. Thank you all very much. Have a lovely evening.
Anyone else? Ladies first. Yeah.
I'm not. Hi, I'm Terry Martin. I do not live in this township. I live in Chestnut Hill Township. I work all over Monroe County. We did not have, let's go back. I wanted to buy the Grace Church. It was interfered with. My offer was not submitted. When people started to work in that church, there was selective zoning and there was a betrayer. I thank you guys all for serving. I'm happy with the election results, but I do want to say one thing. This gentleman right here, Mr. Trapasso, he could have gone anywhere in the United States and invested his money, but he chose to do it here. And I am a real pain in the butt, but I have not found anything that is incongruent with our Pocono brand that he has brought to this area. And I want our Pocono brand protected. I want us to preserve and protect that brand. Warehouses and a whole bunch of apartment buildings are not going to do that. But the kind of quality buildings that he put up is something that people will come to us to try to preserve what we have. I haven't found anything that he's done that set us back. And believe me, if he did, I'd know. So I don't want him to get discouraged and just say, oh, well, the hell with the Poconos. We need people like him to invest here. We need that. But we don't need the too closely held. We need some outside now. I support his projects. I don't support the good old boy network. That's all I have to say.
Anyone else?
Jim Pellegrini, Swiftwater. I've witnessed and read a lot of inflammatory posts this week on social media. Name calling, intimidation, snarky comments have no place on a public post. Do it on your own page. Your freedom of speech on your own page. When you post it on a public page, now you're subject to scrutiny. If this type of behavior does nothing to bolster the trust and confidence in this board or to garner any respect, I would ask that perhaps you review some of the stuff I'm telling you and maybe come up with some kind of rules of engagement or code of conduct. I expect more from our elected officials than having the townspeople put down. None of this was directed to me. I did not make a comment on that post because I'd rather stand in front of a microphone than behind a keyboard. Thank you for your time.
Last I looked, Mr. Pellegrini, it is freedom of speech, whatever you're talking about. I don't get on social media, so, and this isn't a debate. I heard what you said, but I just say it is, you have the freedom to speak your mind, I guess.
I'm not saying you don't. When you put it out in the public, well, okay. When you put it in the public, you're up for public scrutiny. Name calling, intimidation, coming from the council members, more than one. You accept that?
I don't accept anything. I said, I don't get on it, so I don't know what you're really talking about.
Well, I'm telling you
I'm
what the
suggesting
gist
maybe you
is.
should
Would
read
you,
it.
let's say hypothetically you saw it, would you accept it?
I don't know. the way you read it.
Okay,
I don't make
fair
a
enough.
decision like that.
Again, it's not a debate. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else? I see a hand.
Hi, Cheryl Parks, 150 Ruby Lane. I've been a resident for 38 years. So I guess I'm ready to, for blasting to start for the warehouse. The fact that all those acres of old growth timber is going to go, especially in a corridor that probably is where we should have the trees next to major highways. But so now I've been all three sides of me. I have an inspector coming tomorrow to inspect in case they blow something up or crack a foundation or whatever is going to happen. I still want to bring up with I wrote a right to know when the zoning was changed to C1 because the people on Kenny's Way and on Ruby Lane were never notified when that was changed. I did not get an answer. I got an answer from this board saying it was done in 1983 on a piece of notebook paper with a township seal. There should have been a map then if it had been appealed. I wrote a right to know asking for a map from 1983 of the zoning and 1988, which was when my husband and I wanted to start a small business in our basement. The thing I got back was from the county planning guy, and he said that he wanted to know why I wanted to know, who wanted to know, and why, and then said he had sent a map of supposedly 1981. Well, if it was supposedly amended in 1983, why would they have a map from 1981? On closer inspection of the map that I was sent, the date on that map was 1988. So clearly there's no maps from when that was done. Barring that, we have a deed restriction that says our property is supposed to stay residential. That I see the folks from Pocono Manor were here. Their deed restriction was upheld. I don't know why ours wasn't. I'm so disappointed in this board, mainly for the antics that I've seen here. I've come to every meeting for a year and a half, and the things that I've seen being done to have just, I'm really disappointed in it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is there anybody online that wishes to make a public comment?
There's anyone online?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Bob Rodriguez. I have an Airbnb in the Poconos. I use it as my home. And they increased the short-term rental licensing fee 5 times the amount. Went from $500 to $2,500, which is absolutely ridiculous. So as a homeowner, I try to make a little extra money to try to do my Airbnb. And this is just way too much. I don't know how you expect anybody to afford that, unless you just want to wipe out almost all the Airbnbs in the Poconos, which we drive in many people from different areas, from Connecticut, New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey, and they come to the Poconos. They spend money here. They help our store owners, our restaurants. I hope the new commissioner, Charles, looks promising. He looks like a good man. we'll do something about this and bring it back to $500, where it's a lot more reasonable. So I hope you heard. I know there's a lot of Airbnb people. I cannot continue to do Airbnb. I had to shut it down because it's not affordable. Maybe for a hotel that's drawing in, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the Poconos, I don't know, but I'm not that guy. And for an Airbnb, a small Airbnb, try to make a little extra money here or there and help out the township also at the same time. And for us to go up and enjoy our home there, and we really love the Poconos, but it's really hard to do an Airbnb with that kind of cost. So I really hope you guys consider this, bringing it back down to $500. Thank you for your time.
Anyone else online?
Online, please raise your hand if you'd like to make public comment. Another public.
Thank you. Under presentations, we have a presentation tonight from Zelenkowski, Axelrod, Jeffrey Weiss, and Rachel Goucher on the 2024 audit.
Hello, my name is Rachel Gouger. I was the supervisor on the audit. Jeff Weiss was the partner on the job. I just want to start by thanking Jared and Regina and all the staff getting the audit done. It takes a little bit of time and effort every year, but that has to be done. I'm just going to highlight a couple main areas of the report. Pages 1 through 3, this is your opinion. It's an unmodified opinion, which means your financial statements are fairly presented in all material respects. Bottom of page 3 points out that the financial statements are prepared on the modified accrual basis of accounting, which is a basis of accounting other than accounting principles generally accepted in the U.S. Next section of the report, pages 4 through 10. This is management's discussion and analysis. This is just a good read to that management puts together of what occurred in the township throughout the year. We don't audit these pages. We just make sure there's no conflicting numbers within the report. It's a good opportunity to read through the ins and outs to better understand the statements themselves. Page 11 and 12, these are your entity-wide statements. If you take everything and put it into 2 columns, this is what you get. So your total net position for governmental and business type is $17.2 million. Most people want to concentrate on page 13 and 14. These are your fund level statements, which is your general fund, which is your main operating fund, which most people care about. Your total fund balances there is $8.7 million. Your other funds listed here is your sewer design and construction, your capital reserve, American Rescue Plan, and then other non-major funds, which are listed in the back separately. Most of these didn't have any big change. Capital Reserve had some change this year, just due to ongoing projects in the township. Page 14 is basically your income statement. So for general fund, you did have an increase of about $2.7 million. This is largely attributed to a large building and zoning permit the township received this year and an increase in interest income. Page 15 and 16 show the results of your enterprise fund, which is your sewer operating fund. This shows a net position of about $5.1 million, and this is an increase of about $1 million from prior year. Page 18 and 19, these are your fiduciary funds. You have a police pension fund and an escrow fund. Police pension did increase about $1 million, which is just due to an increase in market for 2024. Starting on page 20 of the report through about 36 are your notes to the financial statements, and it just goes into further detail of certain numbers, and we'll talk about a few. Note 4 talks about your long-term debt. The township in total has about $13.2 million in notes and bonds. Page 29 and a couple pages after that discusses in length your police pension plan. There is a pension trust with about $9.9 million, and the total liability is $10 million, which brings your net pension liability for police to about $118,000. Page 34 is your OPEB plan, which is other post-employment benefits. These are for employees hired prior to January 1st, 2020. The township has a total liability of about $1.2 million. Another main statement a lot of people like to look at is your general fund budget to actual on page 37. In total, revenues came in about $3 million over budget. And again, this is largely due to the building permit and tax revenue came in higher as well. Expenditures were about $349,000 over budget, and your main function there is public safety and protective inspection, which again is due to that building permit, zoning permit, which gets paid out of that. Page 39 and 43, these are just required schedules that show 10-year trends for your pension and your OPEB plans. Page 44 and 45 are your fire tax fund and your liquid fuels funds. No big changes there. We also do a yellow book opinion. Page 46 is your government auditing standard opinion. One material weakness identified, which is a repeat from prior year, and that's just simply because the township operates on a modified accrual basis instead of the required full accrual. The other finding from prior years was resolved this year, so that was good. That's the township statements in a brief nutshell.
Any of the commissioners have any questions for Rachel?
Subsequent events. I was surprised not to see our refinancing there. Does that not go in there?
I don't think that was finalized yet, as far as my knowledge, Jared.
Yeah, that'll be for the 2025 budget.
We approved it though, right?
Yes.
It wasn't finalized though, as of our issuance date, I was told.
What do you mean finalized?
Like the transactions didn't occur yet.
Oh,
So we've passed the debt ordinance. We actually haven't taken the debt on yet.
gotcha. Thank you.
I'll make a motion to accept the Pocono Township 2024 audit. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion from the commissioners.
Yeah, we still need the DCED report because that's the one that gets filed. So I'm not sure when we can be expecting that. Yeah. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Anybody in the audience before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nay? Motion carried. Quarter three treasurer's report, Frank Cefali and Regina Sivich. Good evening, Frank.
Yeah, hi. So what we're looking at tonight are the 3 quarters ending 9/30/2025, concentrating on the third quarter. Again, as we always start, we give you the summaries of the revenues and expenses and comparisons for the past 3 years. Everything through the 9/30 third quarter is pretty much in line with what we expect. Then we have the detail sections, very thick pages. Pages 1 through 25 are the general fund. We break out each quarter, first, second, third, and then do a year-to-date at the end of ending on page 25. At the end of each year-to-date section, we show the cash balances for each fund. And basically, that is it for the presentation tonight. There's a lot of detail here. If you have questions now, I can try and answer them. Otherwise, please review everything, and we'll be back at the year end with our fourth quarter summary.
Any questions from the commissioners?
Not on this report, but in general, because Gina had run me off a budget to today, because I wanted to look at a few numbers. And I just noticed, we had already talked about one that I'm not gonna bring up because she explained it to me. But there are several line items that we need to be careful on because it looks like we're over budget and we can't go over unless we reappropriate first.
Is that
So-
the building, the renovations probably?
No, I'm not counting
Oh.
that. I have,
All right, we
So-
can talk about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. Sal Casaro, Hanover Engineering. Waiver requests and fees in lieu of,
Good evening, everyone. My name is Sal Cayazzo from Hanover Engineering. I'm here to present this plan to you. You'll probably be familiar with this plan as it has been in front of the board before, I think 10 to 12 years ago when it was initially approved. The Sheets portion of the project has been constructed and in operation for a couple of years now. The portion of the project that we're proposing, a 110 room hotel and a 7,200 square foot retail store. This was originally proposed and approved as a medical office building with, I believe, a daycare in the first floor. The developer has since changed the proposed use to the use that's in front of you here tonight for a 110 room hotel and a 7,200 square feet of retail. So, as you may know, if you go out to the site, the pad has been constructed, where the parking is going to be is constructed, and the underground stormwater basin has been constructed. The proposed development increases the impervious by about a half an acre, which causes us to reevaluate the stormwater and make sure that it still meets with all the ordinance requirements, which is what we've done. We've added some landscaping, because we wanted to make sure that we hit all the buffer requirements of the ordinance, which we do. So we're in front of you today to look for a revised approval of the plan, and there are two minor waivers that are a typical waiver requests that I come to you for and that have been approved in the past. These two are to allow for a 2-to-1 slope, a cut slope instead of a 3-to-1, which is the minimum requirement in an ordinance. And the second one is to reduce the width of a parking spot from 10 feet down to 9 feet. These are very typical waiver requests. I'm sure you've heard my fill of justification on them, but the reasoning for them is to reduce the impact of the project, to be more environmentally sound, to have a smaller footprint. You know, if we go the full 10 feet, we increase the parking area by 10%, which means more clearing. We get closer to the side yards and the rear yard of the project, which we're trying to avoid. And the same goes for the 2-to-1 slope versus the 3-to-1 slope. If we grade it out at a 3-to-1 slope, we get much closer to the property boundaries adjacent to the project that we are trying to avoid. So that's the purpose of it. The project can go forward without the waivers, but we feel that, you know, granting the waiver would be an environmentally friendly thing to do, and it meets with the intent of your ordinance.
Jared, has it been approved by the planning commission?
It has not. It was, we had received the comment letter from the engineer and Hanover on the same day the planning commission, so it was not voted upon.
John, you're okay with these?
Yeah, these are typical waivers that we've granted in the past. I agree with Sal's assessment. Matter of fact, the ordinance actually says with respect to cut fills that I'm quoting, the maximum slope of any earth embankment or excavation shall not exceed 1 foot vertical to 3 foot horizontal unless stabilized by retaining wall or cribbing, except as approved by the Board of Commissioners for special conditions. We are putting erosion mat in there, which does protect it at a steeper slope than 3 to 1. So I think it meets the intent of the ordinance by doing that.
I'll make a motion to approve the waiver request of 390-48.w bracket 1 for the cut slope embankments to have a 2 to 1 slope instead of a 3 to 1 slope required by the section. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion by the commissioners. Anyone in the audience wish to make a comment regarding this?
Yes.
Just so everybody's aware, you'll get 1 minute of time.
I promise I won't filibuster.
That's fine.
Charles Kepler, Commissioner-elect. This went before the planning board and they did not approve it. And now it's coming before you. You have on multiple occasions in the past deferred to the planning board when making decisions about waivers. And now you're about to pass this through without having the planning board look at it and evaluate it. The people of Pocono Township want to know that they can trust this board to do what's best for them, not for their friends. Now, Vince Trapasso has come before you. They've changed this project. It was originally supposed to be an office building, employing medical people, good jobs, a daycare that would have brought down childcare costs, and now it's going to be another hotel. And I believe we waived the traffic study on that. This man has received nothing but favors for this project. The least this board can do is make him follow the rules, just like everybody else in this community. Thank you.
Any,
I just want to address that if I can, before you do, Vince. I understand what Charles is saying, but these 2 waivers are something that we've done for everybody, the slope, and John, you could,
he said that. If he would have listened, he would have heard that.
so. I think these waivers aren't impacting anything at this time, but I do understand what he's saying, but these 2 waivers are not very impactful.
I agree.
And the whole point is they can move forward without these waivers, but they're looking to
And we
preserve
really-
the environment by doing less.
Right. Anybody else have a public comment regarding this? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays? Motion-
Abstain.
Thank you. I'll I'll approve waiver number 390-59.b. It's a request to allow the parking spaces specs to have a 9-foot width as opposed to a 10-foot width. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion by the commissioners.
Well, by reducing the size of the parking spaces, we're reducing the impermeable surface, the impervious surface. So we're saving, what'd you say, Sal, 10% of the pavement? And so that's more room for grass and trees and nifty things like that. So for what it's worth, I'm all for it.
Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to make a comment before we vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Abstain.
We were carried. Sal, thank you very much. Good luck with
We
the
have one
project.
more thing, we need in lieu of fees to be
Yes.
discussed.
Thank you. That's true.
It's on here too, yeah.
That was on.
So for commercial development, which this falls under, it's $1,400 per acre. I believe it's 5.88 acres, which brings us to
There you go. There you go.
it is
Sal,
8232,
8,000.
$8,232.
I'll make a motion to accept the, go ahead.
John, this is bone of contention because we always do something different. I mean, this is apartments or no, it's a
this is
hotel,
a
I mean.
hotel, so there should be no.
So it goes by acre, not by unit?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
that's what I wanted to clarify. Okay.
8232, Sal, was that it?
Yeah.
Making a motion to approve the in lieu of fees for the hotel number and retail, the Trap Enterprises at $8,232. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion. Anybody in the audience wish to make a comment? All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Abstain.
Thank you. Artrum, for Chernock, change in zoning from R.
Can we just go back a minute? Brian, I'm sorry, but you have to state the reason why you're abstaining.
It's, I own the project with Vincent.
Thank
He did submit them.
He already has submitted his.
I submitted them the other day.
the public didn't know. Thank you. Oh, is it? I didn't see it.
Okay. Is Artrum here? Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. Good evening. Sorry, I was a little unprepared. I don't have a tripod and stuff. I don't know if you have a map, but I'm at 394 Camelback Road. I've been there for 6 years. Basically, we're in the middle of a no man's zone. Right to the left of us, it's commercial. To the right of us, it's recreational. Across is Camelback, and which is all recreational and commercial. Wilkie Road itself is, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correct. It's all recreational. So we have a STR 235 Wilkie Road, which is the highest rated one in Tannersville. So we kind of got grouped our zoning in with Cobble Creek. Behind our property, there's no houses for about a quarter mile, and there's about a 500-foot hill going up. To the left of us at 102 Wilkie Road, we own that property as well. We just acquired it. So basically, I wanted to change it, see if we could change it to an STR friendly zoning, considering Camelback now does fireworks every Friday night. It's super loud. It's great for the weekend, but it's no longer feasible for us to live there anymore. My dog gets spooked. I'm okay with the fireworks. The people that come are okay with it. And we do hire all local people to take care of the properties, to clean the properties, to maintain them. So collectively, we have about 7 acres. So I was wondering if it was a possibility. So for the last also 23 years, I've been in fire protection. My company got sold last year. So as of December 16th, I'm out of there. My contract's up. I do have back issues, so I'll be focusing on these properties in general to keep them, local, maintain them, and to the highest quality. Also, I believe it's great for the for the town itself, for the fees that we do pay out every year. And that's pretty much it. So the best way to figure out which place I'm actually speaking about is if you're making that sharp left to go up to the mountain on Camelback. There's 3 houses on the right with little bridges. Those are them. So there's nobody to the left, nobody to the right. And I'm just not sure how we've even got grouped with Cobble Creek Estates, considering they're an HOA. And it's a little weird corner, like snip out that we're in. So it's just, it screams STR, and we wouldn't bother anybody, and you could make as much noise as you want. Nobody would know.
I'm looking at the map, and correct me if I'm wrong, but on either side and behind your property, it's all R1. It's only across the street that it's RG.
So Wilkie Road itself is all recreational to the left. To the right, it actually, when you're going down Camelback, there's actually no houses there. There's the creek, and then it goes straight up. So where these 4 houses are located, there's nobody to the left or to the right. If you go a quarter mile back and then up about 500 feet, that's the houses behind us at Cobble Creek. You can't even see them.
So I have some pictures here, and there are houses on it. Are they gone now?
Houses where?
Find my picture.
What's the address again?
It's 102 Wilkie and 394 Camelback Road. So at 102 Wilkie, there's that sharp turn that goes straight up to the mountain. There's nobody to the left, to the right, to the back. It's all ours, actually. We own that little corner.
14 Wilkie Road too.
No, that's Philip, but we don't even see him. He's about 1,000 feet away from us.
It's a still border. Yeah.
The only homes behind us is Cobble Creek, but they're in their own community. They have an HOA, so we kind of got grouped with them. But if you look at the actual layout, we're nowhere near them.
I remember a few years ago, there was another, somebody that lived further down on Camelback Road. I don't know the exact address right now.
386 Khalid.
They wanted us to change their zoning.
He still does.
Well, I'm sure he does.
But 102 made a lot of noise. She came down and said she didn't want it. And then she unfortunately passed. She was my neighbor and they wanted us to have the property. So we bought it from them off market. The husband who survived, he was just elderly and he's moving back to, I think, Thailand or wherever they were
You're
from.
just asking for 102 Wilkie Road, correct?
102 and since it's a part of the recreational zoning, and I mean, I would take 394 Camelback since it's mine as well. Connected. I wouldn't mind, but that's.
Well, Leo, we can't do that. That's.
He's not requesting any action tonight. This is obviously a legislative decision to be made by the board.
Yep.
It's probably best for the engineering and for me to take a look at it because it looks like it might be spot zoning.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, this would be a clear spot zone if we did that, but I'd like some time to consider it. We're not on any clock to act or anything else.
I don't think it would be spot zoning because there's 4 homes and all 4 would agree for it.
Would you mind the statement about your fireworks? You're saying there's fireworks every weekend there?
Well, Camelback does fireworks every Friday night in the summer, literally. And what happened was when we've been there for 6 years now, and before the bank collapsed up in Deep Lake, I don't know when that was, like 3-4 years ago, we had a major storm. When you used to walk across the bridge, it would like flutter your ears and then you couldn't hear anything. Ever since they fixed it, they raised it. So now the creek is real low all the time. So you just hear the traffic zooming by all day, especially when people cut that left turn to go up the mountain. When they punch that throttle, you just hear it. All the motorcycles go up and down all summer long. So I don't mind, it doesn't bother me so much, but it like to live there, we're not gonna do it anymore. It's too noisy. But for a weekend getaway for people, they love it. We have another one right down the road and there's been no complaints. We don't mind paying the fees. We know they did go up tremendously, but we feel like to keep the neighborhood going and the local people employed, that needs to be done and we're okay with it. So we figured if we add a few more, why not? But as you could see, it's hard to see on the map. You got that big cluster on the right, the one to the left, and the 2 homes to the left of that. They all want to do it. So
I think Mr. DeVito is right. He needs to take a look at it.
I knew that there's a process to it. I just wanted to bring it up and see if, I don't feel like it's spot zoning because that we shouldn't even be clustered with Cobble Creek Estates. They pay an HOA, they have their own community. And I'm not sure why Wilkie Road comes down and then for some reason the last 2 houses all of a sudden are R1 when the rest of the road is recreational.
So just to kind of clarify for the board, Wilkie Road all the way up, it does extend about 1.5 miles. It is all recreational up there. There are 4 houses that are R1 that are off the either Camelback or the first kind of stretch of Wilkie Road. Again, I did kind of speak with the owner here and discuss the situation. Potentially, it could be Jared has a little bit better to kind of see. The red zone up there is a C district that kind of follows Camelback. The green is RD, and then all of the rest is, like he said, Cobble Creek. There's no access to these 4 properties from anywhere besides Wilkie and Camelback Road. There's about a 400-foot gap from 102 Wilkie to the nearest property line in the rear. So there's a kind of a considerable distance between any existing single-family home to these new existing ones on Wilkie.
And a huge hill. Appreciate it.
But actually, we have no hearings tonight. Under resolutions, I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-37, accepting this revised sewer rules and regulations. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion by the commissioners.
Mr. President, as reported last meeting, I met with staff last week. We had a Zoom call for over an hour to discuss comments that have been received. I was able to connect with Mr. Gundrum today. We're in a conversation. I'd asked that this matter be tabled until our next meeting.
Okay, I'll make a motion to table. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion The motion to table carried. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-40, granting the final approval of Core 5 LDP 1373. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion by the commissioners?
Yes, I have a question.
Certainly.
I'm looking at P&M's letter regarding the fire company. I guess they're waiting on the fire company to review. So if you approve this, what happens when the review comes back and there's not proper fire? If something were to happen. And then my other question is the in lieu of fees, does that acreage include the sewer line acreage that is being developed from Stadden over?
Mr. Chairperson, I'm Jeff Durney. I'm here on behalf of Core 5, and I can answer Commissioner Ganantz's question on the fire company. We were before the Township Planning Commission last Monday night, and they gave us a unanimous recommendation for approval here this evening. The issue of the fire company that evening, the fire chief was there at the Planning Commission meeting and confirmed he would meet with his fellow firefighters on Wednesday night of last week, which they did. We have then received confirmation from the fire company that all of the fire hydrants were in an acceptable position. The fire company was happy with where everything was. The only question that had been raised by Chief Maring was, will there be an FTC to feed the sprinkler system once the water tank was to run out? And we can confirm that, yes, that will be as part of the building permit, that plan would be designed that way.
And the fire company has enough access to get in and out of there.
They do.
And Lieutenant Gallagher's here in the back if there's any other questions for fire.
So they in and out on the same road, or how? What is the access going in and out? Same from Warner Road?
Yeah, same road.
And then my other thing would be the acreage.
I did this a while ago. I presume it included the sanitary sewer because it's all disturbed acreage.
Yes. Yes, it was. As a matter of fact, we got a draft of the agreement, and we actually revised it to increase the fee because it was calculated. The new calculation was, I think, 71.08 acres, which resulted in about a fee of about $99,000 and change, about $5,000 more than what the township had in the original plan.
But it includes all disturbed acreage. So that would include this.
Let's relax. Anything else from the commissioners? Mr. Durney, thank you. Before we vote, is there anybody in the audience that wishes to make a comment? You have 1 minute.
Terry Martin, Chestnut Hill Township. This letter was hand delivered to the residents next to the warehouse. Rocky Rift Consulting Incorporated. It's going to be quick. Blasting operations, dear property owner. Please be advised that Mora and Scott Incorporated have been retained to do controlled drilling and blasting activities for bedrock excavations at the Core 5 project. Explosive engineers have established a pre-blast inspection. As a matter of protection from all parties, all independent consulting firm of Rocky Rift Consulting has been retained to inspect the structures at no cost to you, blah, blah, blah. Mart and Scott have the necessary licenses. These people cannot afford to hire an attorney. I don't think anybody should be going on their property to evaluate anything without a certificate of insurance. There's a Don Haney that signed it. And from what I understand, you guys are supposed to be voting to approve this tonight. And I may have misunderstood, but it's already in progress. So if that's the case, how did that?
Terry, thank you, but your minute is up.
If I have to go to court, I'll go. Okay.
Anyone else in the audience?
What's the stated purpose of these warehouses? Are they small bays for rent, or is there some other function that they're going to perform? Well, some warehouses store dangerous things within there. Are there any guidelines onto what they can put in this warehouse?
By the township.
I believe it was restricted to no dangerous chemicals can be stored.
Yeah.
And
There's also under, when they obtain a building permit, we look at to see what storage they are going to be installing, make sure fire sprinkler systems are up to standard. So if it's a high pile storage, any hazardous material, we'd kind of flag that during the building permit process as well.
so this is going to be rented to multiple tenants, not a single tenant like an Amazon or something. That's where I'm going with this.
We don't know.
You don't know.
But
Okay.
it's not a requirement of the land development process as to who the
Define that.
ultimate end user is.
I'm just concerned about storage of dangerous materials.
And that applies to whoever it would be. That is restricted. So
Jim, as far as the chemicals go, there haven't been any applications for Title II or SARA licenses, at least that have come to the township so far.
Thank you, guys.
Anyone else? This Parks?
After watching this board change the zoning ordinances for 715 to benefit the senator's brother, for one thing, this could have been stopped by the township. I'm sorry they didn't see fit to do it. I felt we were railroaded with this. Again, I never even knew that my property was zoned commercial. And I'm sorry that you didn't seem, the people on Ruby Lane and on Kenny's Way are kind of like the great unwashed and the sacrificial people at the moment. So we only have one way in and out. If there's a fire, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm disappointed that the commissioners did not see fit to stop this before it got there. It has no business there. And I'm going to be really sorry to see old growth trees that are probably older than this country in the 250-year anniversary being cut down. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Lisa Buckholz, Jackson Township. I would like to just say that it's really sad to see this happen. And I think the community deserved better. I do believe that insisting on an ingress and egress to this property would have shut it down in the get-go. I think that would have stopped it all in its tracks. Not giving a bunch of waivers into the wetlands, the 90 linear feet of stream that is going to be obliterated. And I really hope that things change at this township, that people start advocating more for the people that pay their taxes. I know this is a hard job and you don't get paid much, but I think there needs to be a little bit more awareness of these big plans and maybe allow these people to be notified when large plans like this are going to abut. And I would volunteer to do that and help. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Rebecca Smith, Pocono Township. I just have a question. When Core 5 starts their blasting and something happens to my well and septic, who is responsible? And who financially will become? Who this burden, who is it falling on?
Core 5.
Thank you.
Which is why the pre-blast survey is actually an important item, so you can monitor, and there's a pre to compare to the post, so that if there's any damage, the blasting company subcontractor would be responsible for that. So the pre-survey is actually very important. We had one for our office building when they were demoing a parking deck behind us, and they offered it and we grabbed it because historic structure, we were very concerned about that. It's very important.
Okay. In addition, if I allow these people on my property and they should trip and fall, who's liable?
they would be liable at that point in time.
It's compensation.
A different, I mean, attorney could say that he'd sue everybody involved, but again, I can't stress the importance of a pre-survey.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
You didn't see him.
I can't see it through
The camera.
thank you. Must be a comfortable couch he sits there on.
Charles Kepler, Commissioner-elect. I just want to say I'm profoundly disappointed to see this project moving ahead. I know there isn't much that this body can do at this point. It seems unclear whether there were things that they could have done in the past. Regardless, it's a horrible thing to see. Our tourism is going to be decimated. People come here for the beauty of the Poconos, and to know that we're losing several acres of trees in a township that is renowned for its natural beauty. It's a big reason why people come out here, and to have an enormous warehouse crop up right near our homeowners, right in the center of town, right in the historic heart of Tannersville. I think you're gonna be able to see it from 611. I mean, it's a terrible tragedy for Pocono Township, and I wish this board had done more. And, I hope we can do more in the future, once I'm a sitting member, to try to make sure that projects like this don't move ahead if there's anything we can do about it, because people of Pocono Township, well, they deserve better. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Humberto Lois. My only question is, when I bought a property here in Pocono Township, a week after I bought the property, somebody came in and said, see that side to the left of it, that's considered wetland. You can't touch that. But yet a developer comes in and they could do whatever they want.
That's not true. But that person, I believe from Jackson Township, stated that we allowed this company to go into the wetlands. We did not. First of all, we don't have the authority to do that. And second of all, our township has a buffer. They actually go 5 feet into the buffer of the wetlands, and they assured us it'll be restored. So there was no approval given for them to go into the wetlands to build.
I'm going to have to disagree with you, Rich, because I think 2 parking spaces were actually in the wetlands.
And you know what? They have more money than I do, so it's all good.
Had nothing to do with money.
There's nothing in the wetlands.
Anyone else in the audience? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays?
Nay.
Motion carried. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-41, granting the preliminary final approval of the Trap Lot 1 Hotel and Retail. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. President and Commissioner Velarde, could you just update that to Trap and Wynot Enterprises, please? Make that amendment.
I'll restate the motion. I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-41, granting the preliminary final approval of Trap and Wynot Lot Number 1 Hotel and Retail. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike.
Rich, I'm sorry. I would also like the resolution to include a payment of $8,232 for in lieu of open space fees.
I'll accept that amendment if Mike will accept it.
I'll accept that.
Discussion by the commissioners. Hearing none, is there anybody in the audience that wishes to make a comment regarding this? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Abstain.
Motion carried. Okay, moving on with the consent agenda, I'll make a motion to approve a consent agenda of the following items. Old business consisting of the minutes of the November 3rd, 2025 regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners. Financial transactions through November 17th, 2025 as presented, including ratification of expenditures in the amount of $669,737.55 for the following accounts: General Fund, Sewer Operations, Gross Payroll, Capital Reserve, Construction Fund, and Transfers. Is there a second?
Second.
By Natasha, discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to make a comment regarding this before we vote?
Jerry Martin, Chestnut Hill Township, each and every single one of you need to understand there's such a thing as civil law and offenses. There's such a thing as criminal law and offenses. And then there's such a thing as organized crime. And you will be held liable personally and as a township, anybody that had anything to do with the mess that this township has become, I promise.
That sounds like a.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays? Motion carried. Okay, under new business personnel, nothing under my report. I'll make a motion to authorize the township engineer to go out for bid for a Penvest bid for Learn Road Roundabout project for bids to be in by December 10th and be awarded for December 15th Board of Commissioner meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion? Anybody in the audience wish to make a? Yes.
Charles Kepler, Commissioner-elect. This roundabout project has been a point of major contention here in Pocono Township for as long as I've been coming to these meetings. For you guys to put it out for bid, call the bids back in less than a month, and then vote on it at the very last meeting before the board changes over, it's just bad optics. I don't understand why this board would do something like that. Just let the new board take office. Why would you do it this way? Why would you make it? I mean, there's already perception around this roundabout that things were done improperly the last time. And to go and do it this way, just from a public trust perspective, I don't understand why you wouldn't wait. The original contractor was claiming that the reason that, you know, one of our commissioners, the reason he was saying that he didn't want to continue the project was because he didn't want to be held for that much time. If this is being done in the middle of next summer, why are we holding them all through the winter and the spring? We should be bidding it sooner, closer to when it's actually going to be worked on. It makes no sense. And, you know, anybody with eyes to see and ears to hear can understand why it's happening this way. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'd just like to let everyone know that this is about the same time that we bid the project the first time around. The reason for bidding it early is the contractors are lining up their work for the next year. And we do want to schedule it when school is out. However, there are items that must be ordered that have lead times that shop drawings have to be submitted and approved. So the whole schedule was taken into consideration so that once school is out, they can complete the project in time for school to start again. So that was all taken into consideration in setting up the schedule. We have.
Okay, John, thank you for that explanation. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any nays?
Nay.
Motion carried. The next three motions I'm going to defer possibly because some of the numbers are incorrect. So I'll move on to my last motion. Is a motion to approve the Grant Success Lab contract for 2026 in the amount of $49,200 or $4,100 a month. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion?
Yes. Is this the same grant company that we already have, or is this somebody new?
No, this is the same one, just renewing our contract.
And what have they done for us?
They handle all grant administration and grant submittals. They also serve as a lobbyist for us.
So we got grants based on their submissions, or?
Yeah, we've used GSL since 2019. In that time, we've received a little over $4 million worth of grants. This past year, we had received LSA, Audubon, PMVB, and a lot of them were still waiting returns on. The government shutdown slowed a lot of that down.
Thank you.
But yeah, total this year, we've received just about 300,000. And we're still waiting on statewide LSA, DCNR, FEMA, AFG grant for the fire company, and the GTRK grant.
And they deal with all the paperwork along the way.
Yes, we have 18 grants under administration through them.
We'd have to hire someone. We'd have to hire someone to monitor all that.
Yeah.
Or two. Okay, anybody in the audience who wishes to make a comment on this before we vote? Sorry? Ma'am, if you want to talk, you have to come up with the mic. Appreciate it if you just if you wouldn't yell out.
Exercise.
Yeah, there you go.
My name is Terry Martin from Chestnut Hill Township. Do you like the color orange?
Jeez. Anyone else? All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Motion carried. Commissioner Leap, Mrs. Leap,
I have nothing tonight, thank you.
Ms. Canant,
Yes, any update on the solar field?
Yes, there is. I don't know if you've heard, Ellen, what took place over the past week, but there was another event which occurred out of Basin 305. Sediment laden water was discharged and ended up in a pond downstream. We were out there the day of the rain. Basin was functioning okay. It was the next day that we got the call. Actually, the Conservation District got the call. They notified us. We went back out. Conservation District went out. Conservation District actually got DEP involved. And there was considerable head scratching trying to figure out what caused this. I don't know that anybody has a significant answer even today. DEP has recommended that even though it was built according to plan, we double checked that. DEP has recommended that they raise their skimmer. The skimmer is what takes the water off, clean water off the top so the sediment can settle down into the basin. They felt that perhaps it was set too low and that was the cause. So contractor's been working hard to try to resolve the problem. We've been up there 2 or 3 times since, and everyone's keeping an eye on it.
Had they raised that skimmer before, or we had them do something else? They had to do something, make it deeper or something?
They had to redesign the whole basin. 305 was that's the basin where they encountered rock and they couldn't build it according to plan. So that whole section of the site was shut down until they redesigned it. They redesigned it. They did build it. But like I said, DEP, the Conservation District, ourselves, the contractor, we all tried to figure out what went wrong. Don't know. Working hard to make sure it doesn't happen again.
So what if it does happen again? What's the next steps?
I don't know. It's hard. It's a fair question. That's why we want to find out what went wrong so that it doesn't happen again. But we're 90% sure. I've asked for an as-built survey and they promised me they would get that. I don't have it yet. But we're 90% sure collectively that there was something to do with the outlet structure. There was some question as to whether there was subsidence and it went underneath. But that was eliminated. That is not what happened. To me, even though it was built according to plan, the skimmer seems to be the most likely cause of the problem. The one thing that I had recommended and the contractor agreed to do, there's baffles inside of the basin that causes the water to take a long circuit. I thought perhaps it jumped over the baffles. So I said the baffles should be raised and they have agreed to raise the baffles. So we've got 2 adjustments, I'm going to call them, being made to the basin that hopefully will fix the problem.
Do you think the change in this basin will change the standards so that we don't come across this again? Like clearly it wasn't built what they needed and now once we know what they need, will that be the standard then? Well, the standards are really the Conservation District standards, the DEP standards. Whether this one incident will change that or not, I can't really tell you. Can the township change our standards or they go by what we don't rule that? Knowing that it's a problem and we have high quality water we're trying to protect. If we know it's the problem, we do have the ability to modify our requirements. I mean, DEP's requirements are minimum standards. We pretty much accept them because standards are that thick and they are considered the Bible. But
to answer your question directly, we could modify ours, and if that is what fixes it, maybe that's what we should look into.
Yeah, I think we should keep that. in our
Keep that
file.
door open and
Yeah,
hopefully find the answer. No, they can raise the baffles, they can raise the skimmer. We might never get a rainfall event to indicate whether that did anything for us or not. I mean, that's the problem with stormwater. I mean, we have a lot of theory, but Mother Nature has a way of coming up in new ways.
okay, and my next one, I think I'm gonna pass over to Leo, right?
Yeah, that's fine. Thank you, Ellen. Board, with regard to the Pocono Manor Historic Overlay District, we received correspondence from some affected residents, which raised, in my mind's eye, an issue concerning the proposed ordinance. My feeling is, in my opinion, is that the definition of the historic district, and we've laid it out in the text, the words of the amendment, must be consistent with the actual federal designation of the historic area. And my understanding now is that the map does not include property that's part of the historic district within the bounds of Pocono Township. And I believe, and I am of the opinion, that that map needs to be adjusted so as to include those properties that are on the registry and exclude those that are not on the registry. And so as a result of that, I am going to recommend to the board this evening that we table the enactment of this ordinance until we can get a clear map of what is on the registry designated as national historic value, and then redo the process if the board's inclined to do so, but redo the process, planning commission's review, proper advertising, posting, etc., in order to make sure that the proposed ordinance can withstand legal challenge. Certainly, I'm available to answer any questions.
I just wanted.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that I received a lot of emails and I tried to answer a lot of them. I didn't get back to absolutely everybody, but we're not trying to stall it. This is gonna, I hope, would move as fast as it possibly can to get it right so that it's defendable.
Will we be able to get that, Leo, back to us to vote on and approve by the 15th of December?
No, because we need 30 days. We have to give both planning commissions 30 days to review and make comment. So no, the answer is no. Unfortunately, it probably won't happen this year. And quite frankly, it's going to start with getting a map that identifies the historic area. I haven't seen that yet.
Unfortunately, then I won't be able to vote on it, which I was definitely in favor of. So good luck to the Pocono Manor residents. Yes, sir.
Excuse me. Tom Paff, Pocono Manor. To clarify, you're saying that the entire district should be part of the overlay?
Yes, because one of the requirements is uniformity. So we don't want to be in a position where we're treating something already listed on the registry as being historic. We don't want to exclude them. We want to include everybody that is in the registry and exclude those who are not.
Because right now basically it's every home and lot, which is what's being affected right now and constantly by these Airbnbs, by the TDUs. The other problem is that a good portion of the Pocono Manor Historic District, and I know you've been working for us, but this is frustrating. Part of it's in Mount Pocono Borough, another part of it's in Tobyhanna Township, and then all the homes, though, everything that we're trying to protect right now are in Pocono Township. So why can't we just get the overlay going right now to protect these homes? These guys over here have been battling against the 205. And the last time I was here 3 weeks ago, we talked about that. And I saw a lot of people nodding. So as soon as I said 205, you guys knew exactly what residents we were talking about.
Understood, but we have residents, or I shouldn't say, I don't know if they're residents, but they're certainly property owners that are included within the district that believe they should be excluded and are preparing to challenge us. And I've looked at the challengeable issues. Quite frankly, until I learned that the map was not accurate, I was not afraid of those challenges. I felt on very solid legal ground. However, if we create a district and the definition of that district doesn't meet the map, it'll be challenged by somebody and the whole district goes away.
What on the map was incorrect.
Well, that's what I'm waiting to find out. I've been told that that's the case, that there are properties that should have been included that were not. Is what I've been told, but I need to get that map. I understand your frustration and we've spent money in drafting this ordinance, advertising, mailing and everything else. But I think it would be to rush it through or to try to put it through in its current status is only going to result in a legal challenge. And if it defeats it, now we're back doing the same thing again, but doing it correctly. So if we get a map that shows the historic area, I mean, it was mentioned that a part of the golf course might be, part of the hotel might be, that there are lots that are identified as historic structures or historic properties that aren't included on that map.
Well, all of the residents are part of the historic properties.
Understood.
Right. Whether it's a new house or an old house. So how do we handle then the fact that most of the golf course is part of Mount Pocono and a good portion of residents, which are bears and deer, are part of Toby Hanna? How do we handle that?
We can go up to the boundary line of our municipal boundary. We can't extend beyond that, but I'm hearing or I'm understanding that within Pocono Township, that there are properties that have been identified on the National Registry, but are not identified on the existing map that's going to be enacted.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. First of all, I would be in total favor of having more property included. The problem I have with that is the speed with which that will, or the time that it will take. And since the 205 that I've mentioned a few times, since we met last a few weeks ago, the court case came through. We won that court case. They cannot get another license. That's the second owner that we've been in court with. Third owner, but the second one that we've been in court with. The other court case, which was the previous owner, has not been settled yet. When that gentleman decided to sell his house, it flipped like that to another TDU. That's my problem.
And trust me, I understand that problem. I believe I've talked to you on the phone at times. I've talked to Mr. Jackson. I understand what the issues are, but to do it and not have it be upheld is only going to delay this process longer than it's looking at being delayed right now.
And I appreciate where you're going with that. Let me try one more avenue. Can we just do the overlay as proposed and then try and add more property to it later?
The problem is we've then potentially created a defective ordinance. When we go to enforce it, it'll be challenged. We'll fight the fight, but when we lose, it's going to be back in the same situation. I understand it, and I understand the concern. This is all about private covenants. We've had other matters before this board where the township does not get involved in enforcement of private covenants. We're trying to do this right.
Sure.
And you know, as I understand it, the board, we'll see what the new board says starting January 1. But the existing board, as I understand it, remains in favor of this historic overlay district because of the value of the property to the township and surrounding communities. I get it. Trust me.
Thank you.
Sure.
Leo, thank you for your explanation. Ms. Ganant, anything else?
How do I tune in here? Is there some way that this is Don Snyder? Is there some way I can get into this meeting?
Well, there's someone speaking right now, so
I'm sorry, I'm doing it remotely, so I'll back out and come back in if that's all right.
Yes, ma'am.
My name is Georgia Warnke. I live at 16 Park Manor in Pocono, Park Terrace in Pocono Manor. I'm kind of confused. Why do you think the map is incorrect?
I've been told. I haven't seen it.
I mean, this is just why, I mean, what is the basis for thinking other than that you've been told it's incorrect and we've told you it's pretty correct?
Well, pretty correct is not correct.
Correct. It's correct.
Okay.
As far as I know, it's correct. As far as you've heard, it's incorrect.
There are
So
portions
where
of-
is this coming from?
There are portions of the golf course apparently that are included in the registry that are not included in this map.
And the hotel.
Part
And
of
the hotel, and the hotel, which is
The
included.
hotel doesn't exist anymore.
I understand that, but the property does, the dirt does, and that's included in the registry, but not included in the map. Now, we can force this
If you,
through.
where
but it
are
won't
we
be-
figuring this out? So I'm concerned about how we're going to get a correct map. Where did you find this information out?
From the National Registry.
So all you have to do is go back to the National Registry and draw the map from the National Registry?
Yes.
In order to be consistent, yes.
So why does that take more than a few hours?
The problem is we had to submit for a copy of the registry as the National Register record has not been digitized for the Pocono Manor overlay.
And how long does that take?
We submitted it after the last meeting during the government shutdown, so I'm sure they're playing catch up.
So the map that we had, you're saying is an incorrect map. Where did we get, I mean, we didn't make the map up. Sorry.
I think I might be able to answer that a little bit. The map that we received that we had as part of our ordinance was just the residences, but there is property other than the residences that are in the historic district. So I think that's where we're at.
Am I allowed to state something?
Yeah, certainly.
Yes, hi, this is Don Snyder, and I'm sorry to be remote, but I think my suggestion would be, and I think I know more about this historic listing than most people, having been involved in its development with the historian we hired. I think a good option would be to maintain the hearing that's scheduled for December 2nd, educate yourselves to what the facts are, and you'll find that the facts protect this ordinance as it's drafted. This is directed strictly to the residential portion of the community, which was auctioned and designed long before the golf course was in existence. The historic district covers 3 municipalities. The question of why would you even propose that there'd be no Airbnbs in on a golf course? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Well, somebody cut me off.
Did they cut?
Hello?
I don't think you were cut off. I think I no longer see the meeting. They've left their back now.
Speaker.
No, go ahead.
All right, have I been returned? Oh,
He's back.
Go ahead.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't quite know what happened there, but I left off with the historic district encompasses 3 municipalities. And as a hard copy of this historic district offering is available at Pocono Manor. It can be had. I'm surprised that the township didn't have it in its archives. It's the township's responsibility, according to the municipal planning code, to protect their historic assets. This overlay addresses just the residential community only. The golf course didn't happen till a decade later. There's a sewer plant in the historic district. There's parks in the historic district. To try to legislate that there could be no Airbnbs at a sewer plant, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. This is specific to the residential community, and it's our relief, so to speak, and protections, which you're supposed to provide for us according to the municipal planning code. I think I've been caught off again.
No, you're there.
I'm still there. And that's the angst of this. I mean, we've been fighting this battle on our own. We identified the cancer. We've been treating it with radiation. We've been having these victories and spending money. You have the cure to the cancer. You can pass this legislation that pertains only to the residential community, period. And when it was founded first as a residential community. The lots were auctioned. It's all defined in the history. So educate yourselves between now and December 2nd so we can have a public hearing on this thing and we can address this thing from facts. So you're familiar with the facts and how this whole thing came about. I've put a call into the Pennsylvania Historic and Museum Commission and had some discussion with them about this, and I'm sure they'd be willing to help us along. I mean, this is not brain science. This is your obligation to protect your only historic district, which is comprised of a residential community that's being destroyed by this Airbnb. You've solicited no Airbnbs in R1 or not allowed them, and you don't allow them in R2. But here, your oldest subdivision in the municipality, there's all this lollygagging, and let's kick it down the road. Schedule the December 2nd meeting should come off. Get your facts, come into the hearing, ask the right questions, and you'll see that this is the answer. I was cut off, I believe.
My name is Wendy Koch. I live at Pocono Manor, and I agree with the solicitor. The problem is that the overlay district as it currently exists is arbitrary, capricious, and without merit. I mean, there are 138.5 acres contained within the overlay district. In the historic district, there are 2,500 acres, including the inn, what was the pantry, the spa building, and the historic architectural buildings surrounding that. They are not included in the overlay district. That is the real problem that we have here. The hotel can do anything it wants to. It is protected. Its business interests are protected because the ordinance itself says that hotels, inns, and bed and breakfasts are not included. So the hotel does not have any specific interests that would be impacted adversely by being included in the historic district.
Good evening. I'm the newest resident in Pocono Manor. My name is Sophia Matthews, and I reside at 30 Summit Avenue. My husband and I are full-time residents and stewards of a historic property, the Cowaden Cottage. I stand before you today to express my most emphatic support of the immediate approval of the historic overlay. My husband and I did not choose Pocono Manor as an investment. We chose it as our home. We chose it because we fell in love with its beauty, inherent peace, its rich history, and its commitment to nature. This neighborhood is our refuge. The Quakers established this area on core doctrines, principles like simplicity, peace, integrity, and community. We, the homeowners, are the current stewards and obligated to uphold that foundation. The influx of short-term vacation rentals, or TDUs, is not just a nuisance. It is a fundamental violation of the historic character you have recognized. Transient behavior, noise, and commercial use run completely counter to the integrity of this historic community. Commissioners, we are a community dedicated to a shared vision of peace. We ask you approve this historic overlay without delay. By doing so, you protect not just our property values, but the soul and history of Pocono Manor. Thank you.
Jerry Loic. I live on Manor Drive in Pocono Manor. I agree everything that young lady has to say. The problem here is that you're not including the really truly historic where it was founded, the inn's property and all the adjacent acreage associated with it. The solicitor is absolutely correct. This is spot zoning. Any first-year law school student would recognize it as that. So it will never stand up as it is written. And I implore you to include all of the property. You're asking the residents right now, and I have no intention of ever writing my property as an STR. we moved there to be residents. However, just as a gentleman that spoke regarding the Wilkes Road property, he is sandwiched in with Camelback now. Circumstances change. PMI, which Pocono Manors Investors that owns the majority of the property there, has not been a good steward of this land, quite frankly. The roads are constantly in need of repair. They don't give attention to that. I have no idea what they will do in the future with this property. And we have a parcel of very historic homes that are sandwiched in between what may be a hotel again, hopefully, and a timeshare unit at the end of Manor Drive. So we're there, and this parcel needs to be preserved as a whole, not just related to individuals. And I don't want the flexibility taken away from me in the future if I have the new hotel from the Manor shooting off fireworks, and the only thing that's reasonable is for me to salvage my investment in the property by converting it to some type of STR. Thank you.
What? Jerry wanted to give himself the ability to.
Dad, you're unmuted.
The short-term rental.
Dawn.
I missed that.
Dawn, Nancy, please mute yourselves.
Well,
my name is Sammy Jackson. I live at 204 Lake Road, Pocono Manor. You've all seen me here for the last 4 years. I brought in front of you proof in videos, recordings that show the nightmare, the absolute nightmare that has been, unleashed on our community. It is an impossible place to live when you are fearful at the sound of a car coming down your road, not knowing what group of people are going to arrive, what will happen next, what kind of wild party is going to be there. I brought you proof of violent fighting in our front yard, guns going off 30 feet from our bedroom. We have, at your recommendation years ago, taken it upon ourselves to hire a legal team to fight these Airbnbs. We have fought off 3 now owners at 205 Lake Road with no help from the township. We have taken this burden on ourselves at great expense, emotional stress. And just as of Friday, the Superior Court told the Quappa Ventures that they could no longer operate an Airbnb. But what will they do will be the exact thing that they've all done before. Right now, as you are considering policy, they are considering new ownership. They are looking for yet another corporate owner to come in as swiftly as possible and buy that home at a way above price that a normal family couldn't afford, only a corporation can. And they're going to turn that thing around. You can't even believe, just like they did before, within days, they turned it around. That corporation is going to come to you and ask for a business license. And you're going to tell us, through all this that we have been through, all the corporation that we have had, with the township, our coming here to defend when you were being sued by Fetterman to support your case. And you're going to turn around and give yet another business license to yet another corporation without any support from the township in terms of this historic overlay or any other, possibility to defend against it. And this group is going to have to put their money together again, fight in court for another 2 years or so to get rid of this nightmare when you have right in front of you an opportunity. I understand and I respect all the neighbors who have concerns with the overlay in its current form. But we're not just fighting Airbnbs. We're fighting you. This is the problem. It's not just the Airbnb, the corporate owners from out of state coming in, completely, destroying our quality of life. The township is issuing a license to these people. So I ask you, if there's any delay, which I am completely against, but if there is, in the first time in almost 5 years, where we actually have a conversation going about how to protect this important neighborhood, then don't make it impossible for us and continue to give licenses out during this process. You're defeating the whole purpose of this debate. How, you know, what good does it do to have this conversation if by the time you in January, February, March, you have all your protocols and your T's dotted and everything else, and we've got 3 new Airbnbs that have been grandfathered in? What is the purpose of this? I've stood here for years begging you to help us. And now we have the opportunity with a historic district, and I understand some of the concerns, I really do. These are my neighbors, I love these people. But the reality is that they don't want this either. None of these want, short-term rentals. And as far as, my property value is concerned, I don't give a damn, because I would never sell my house to a short-term rental and leave my neighbors with a nightmare that we've been facing. So I ask you, if you're going to do this, if you're going to, do this properly and really come to the table in a serious manner, that we've had this ongoing discussion, then stop giving business license during this time period. It only makes sense. If not, the corporations are winning and we're losing, and they're just jumping in, buying up licenses as fast as they can to get grandfathered in, possibly. It just defeats the whole conversation and the whole opportunity after all these years to finally do something. So I beg of you, please, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, when I'm standing out in the fucking rain, waiting for the cops to show up, because there's a nightmare party taking place across the street, I want your personal phone numbers to call you. At 4 o'clock in the morning, when there's a violent fight out in front of my bedroom, and we're ducking in my house because of gunshots, I want you to all consider that scenario. That's what's been taking place, and that's what you've seen here all these years. And you have an opportunity to do something. So if we're going to debate this, debate it, but stop giving out licenses until this thing has been resolved. Thank you very much.
Leo, can we pause licenses until this is finally voted on?
Yeah, we can battle them out in court if you'd like to. Obviously we'd be sued, but hey, that's part of progress.
In your professional opinion, is there any way to move forward with the ordinance as it stands and then reopen it and revise it once we
I'd like to talk in executive session.
Okay.
If you want to pause for a few minutes, I'll give you my thoughts.
Do you mind if we take a pause quick to discuss this further? Terry, if you want to say something quick first. Hold on, let Terry go. Please.
Whatever the gentleman before said, Terry Martin, Chestnut Hill Township. This is really serious business. I work with multiple townships. One of the gentlemen I work with told me that Pocono Manor Investors is looking to do a data center up in Tobyhanna Township. Okay, because part of where these guys live, part of it's in Pocono Township. They've already raped the mountain. The view's ruined from Big Pocono State Park with the solar operation, but they also want a data center. They're not good stewards. So the only solution that comes to mind, and you guys are going to do what you got to do, just remember fiduciary responsibilities here. If you did like a 180-day moratorium, just to tweak your ordinances, just to take a quick look, but time is of the essence, and the wolves are at the door, and we're talking about data centers here. It's not pretty. Please take this gentleman. Please hear us.
Terry, just to be clear too, if that's being discussed in Tobyhanna Township, we can't control what happens in Tobyhanna, which I know but everyone needs to battle it on all angles. We're listening, we're here, but we need to battle it in other townships as well. Correct. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, Tom Paff again from Pocono Manor, and thank you for that. I agree with what she's saying with the data center, but that is a bit of a different issue. I concur 100% with what Sammy said. I understand where he's coming from. I understand that my other friends also are against the Airbnbs coming back in, STUs, TDUs, all that kind of stuff. I just want to reiterate, we're talking about TDUs in existing neighborhood. They're not going to go to the first tee of the golf course. They're not going to rent a bunch of trees on the mountain. We're just simply talking about the existing homes that have been there 122 years and the lots that are not developed yet. I have been up here. I have felt your sympathy, but I haven't seen the action. Not at all. Sympathy, but no action. Sympathy doesn't get us anything. So I appreciate if you're going to take some time. I just want to reiterate, we're just talking about STRs, TDUs, whatever, and eliminating them from our existing neighborhood. Thank you.
Liam, I have to say what I said before about the clarification of how we're looking at
I'd like to talk first.
Go ahead.
One quick question before the pause. I'm Tom Cogswell, I live in Pocono Manor, 16 Park Terrace. I'm baffled by this whole thing. And I would have thought that with all due respect, if we had this meeting about the discrepancy of the maps, we'd have big map displays. Okay. And it's just, I'm vague about what's going on and why it's going on. But I'll take your point. Maybe there are problems legally you have to look at. But for God's sakes, if you do have to pause it, and I want you to go to executive session and discuss this, move as fast as you possibly can, because it does look terrible, okay, about what the commission's view on this. You really don't give a damn. So anyway, if you do pause it, expedite it as fast as possible to get us up, because we spent a lot of money getting up to this, time and energy getting up to this point. And don't just tell us, oh, sorry, we're going to start all over again. Thank you.
If we see, we're gonna have this on all over again. Oh my God. The flesh. Well, if we see here, it's like, oh, I think 1700, whatever. That's all right. Man, I'm telling you. Forget them and that's what it's like.
What happened?
It's nice to meet them. Also, hoping that they all read. Your body is. Yeah, even with a new lots of South it's that one that's even these but it's so it's like the needs should say cannot do this that it's not
So
they're saying these properties right off the house, like it's like maybe that If it's really like, why didn't we do this?
But if
That's funny. They don't need this. Not to. Then I heard other it's like they found it. That little. Did we leave over? Introduce. Six. There's no way any of those. You know, like.
Yeah, you're not.
Right.
Yes.
And he hit the line. I said. Looks up at it.
So it's largely for hiring.
If we could, the solicitor's going to have a statement for everybody, so I'm going to turn the meeting right now over to Mr. DeVito.
Thank you, Rich. To the residents of Pocono Manor, I want to reassure everybody here that this Board of Commissioners, each and every one of this Board of Commissioners understands what the concerns are and understands the magnitude of those concerns. We listened very closely, and it is extremely apparent as to those concerns. Each and every member of this board also recognizes the value of Pocono Manor as a historic district in Pocono Township. In addition to that, we understand the urgency that is being sought in amending the ordinance. The township, and you may disagree with me, it will follow my advice in this matter, and we will get this ordinance done correctly and as quickly as we can, so that we want to avoid it being overturned and getting back to square zero and avoid any gaps. We appreciate, I can speak for the board on this also, we appreciate not only your persistence in approaching this board. I've been here 11, 12 years. And I agree. I've talked to many of you. I've received correspondence from many of you over the years. And I can assure you that you have been heard, that your persistence has gotten the attention of the board. But please allow us the opportunity to do it correctly and properly to protect everybody in this historic area. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to get action as quickly as possible. The engineer came back. We're going to get the appropriate map as quickly as we can. And we're going to get this process expedited as quickly as the municipality's planning code allows us. And we'll move forward from there. Certainly, if there are any questions, please do not hesitate to contact me. Although I'm not at liberty to discuss what we discussed in executive session, except that I can tell you that this board supports the historic district of Pocono Manor.
And a copy of all the emails received are in front of everyone's desk.
Sure, certainly.
So I'm Tracy Jackson, obviously married to Sammy Jackson. I just want to know then, what about the decision to at least pause any of the business licenses until this is resolved?
We've discussed matters in executive session that we cannot discuss in public. I've instructed my clients not to discuss that in public.
Okay, but but shouldn't we still know? Like, can you do that?
I have discussed it in executive session. I'm not at liberty to discuss those conversations.
Okay, but I don't understand. I don't understand that, just saying, because that's what impacts us. So that's why we're asking. So whatever you discussed in private,
I am trying to
it still
minimize,
impacts us.
I'm trying to minimize the exposure to lawsuit from the township, and I prefer not to discuss that in public.
Oh, okay.
Mr. DeVito, thank you very much. Moving.
I'm sorry. Is the hearing postponed then, the public hearing? Is that still?
It will more likely than not be postponed.
But hopefully not for a long period of time. If we get this map, I think maybe possibly in the next, I don't know, 15, 20 days.
Not even, Rich. If we get it quickly, the text is already done. It's just a matter of attaching the map, getting it to the planning commissions, notifying everybody, posting the property, advertising for the hearing, and conducting the hearing.
But we do need to hear back from the engineer first to certify that map.
I mean, I'm here till the 31st. If we get this all done, I'm willing to call a special meeting as long as we can advertise it properly, legally, and have the hearing and move on. But again,
that's fine. You know, getting it done right is appropriate. I understand that. With some speed, as you said, is good, but I'm a little perplexed at not knowing an answer to the moratorium on licenses. I'm not asking for who said what. I don't need to know what people spoke about, but is there or is there not a moratorium on issuing licenses between now and when this gets settled?
That is litigation, and I'm not at liberty to discuss that. Potential litigation.
No, I appreciate it.
And Mr. President, we do have someone dialed in online.
What's that?
We
Wendy
do have someone
Coke,
dialed
may
in
I
online.
advise the board that if the map includes the properties that have been, the historic properties that have previously been excluded, there will not be opposition to the plan.
We want to get the plan right. It needs to be consistent with the language.
I just might want to add to the board, if I don't know if you can hear me or not.
We can.
There are no properties that were excluded from the map. There were properties that were considered non-contributing. The map itself is historic. The lots that these non-contributing assets are on, I own one of them, as does Mrs. Koch own another. They're still within the historic district. They're still on a lot that was historically registered. So all they are is they are called non-contributing assets. Now, as you educate yourselves on this historic business, this is going to come to light. And the misstatements that are being made, you can't, once you're in the district, you just can't say, I don't want to be in it anymore. It doesn't work like that. But you'll find this out as you do your research.
Now we get
Maya, you have your hand raised?
Yes, I am another property owner in Pocono Manor, and I just wanted to reiterate what a couple of the folks have been saying about the map. The map was written in 1902. There's no new map. There's no exclusions to the historic map. To like have this come up at this stage feels a bit like a red herring and a bit confusing. That, like Sammy mentioned, I mean, this pain and terror like has kind of been happening for 5 years. The map was written 123 years ago. There's no new map. Like the hearing was set. I appreciate that all of that you said, that you respect the community and that there's urgency, but there, like John said, there's no new map. There's nothing really to find. You are the township. You're been approving this map and keeping it in the public record for this entire time. I don't quite understand the reason to postpone something that's been on the books for this amount of time for this new, what feels genuinely like a red herring. It feels distracting. It feels almost like a rumor that you're putting a ton of weight behind. And there are just dozens of people in this community who are facing this very immediate issue now, and to postpone this for this question of a map that there is no question about genuinely feels directly antithetical to what you just committed to the group. And I do believe you, and I do want to believe that you have the best interest of these people at heart. And I do genuinely believe that. And I believe that like this has sort of been brought up as like a distraction for the proceedings to go as planned. And I just want to call that out, that this whole question of map, which is the core to postponing or delaying any sort of movement, doesn't really hold any water. And for that, I think you should continue with the hearing as scheduled. You have plenty of time to get the map that you've had access to this whole time. I understand there's records to be accessed and requested, but this group who's in pain has prepared and have been preparing for 5 years. I think you owe it to them to get what you need and hold the meeting as scheduled.
Leo, I do appreciate where you're coming from, honestly. All I want to say is I heard somebody, Rich, it might have been you, how quickly we can get this going. So I just implore you, as Maya was, let's do it as quickly as we can.
Not on the back burner. It's on the front burner. We'll do whatever we can to expedite it. And again, if we can get to the bottom of this, and it could be a distraction, as that lady just spoke about. But if we don't do it correctly for Mr. DeVito, then what's going to happen?
It just doesn't, we're back to square one.
Yeah, I agree.
And we want to avoid that as much as we can.
Totally understand. And I appreciate your.
Yeah, no, and like I said, I mean, the text is drafted. It just doesn't coincide with the map. And we have a copy of the map, and it's substantial. We just have to include it in there. And whoever owns those properties, I believe it's probably PMI, I'm sure they're going to come in and object, but let them object. At that point in time, we're on more solid ground.
Got it. Thank you. Appreciate
it. What?
He's going to scold us.
Charles Kepler, Commissioner-elect. I'd just like to note that this board has repeatedly made exceptions just to push things through. I mean, even with Trapasso's project earlier this evening, he didn't get his approvals from the Planning Commission, and it went through anyway. I would also note that one of the members of the Planning Commissioner who abstained did not disclose his conflict of interest prior to voting to advance it to you guys, and it was voted through anyway. So this board seems like it's willing to make exceptions for the right people, but it's not willing to make exceptions for the people. And I can understand why people in this community are very frustrated watching that, because it does feel like a double standard and it does feel like a red herring. Whether it is or not is irrelevant. But when this board behaves that way, it leaves people asking questions,
You're
and
way out-
we want a government that we
You're
can
way
trust.
out of line.
Thank
man.
you.
Way out of line. You don't know what you're talking about. And I just hope when you do finally sit up here in one of these seats that you really research what you would have to do. Leo, again, thank you very much. Moving on, Mr. Wynot, do you have anything tonight?
Just that I'll have my jumpsuit in extra large, please. And that's it.
Mr. Velarde?
No, I got nothing.
Zoning, Paul?
Go over this quickly. So we did send out a significant number of NOVs to transient dwelling units that have not renewed this year. So we're currently sitting at 17. We have about, I think, 10 more to send out once we verify and obtain all the evidence for those. We did send out a couple of letters for property maintenance, one over at 2884. This was for the unkept mobile home that we talked about at the last meeting. I don't believe I see her here anymore. And then one for 163 Polville Court. This was a just kind of failure to keep their trash secure. Seems like a bear or some other animal got into it and allowed it to get into neighboring properties. So we sent a letter to kind of have them clean it up and secure trash cans. The Brooklyn fireworks, I did speak with the owner, so he will be removing those trailers that he was court ordered to do. Tent City, we do have the hearing coming up. I did stop out there this morning. There still is trash, so we're moving forward with that. The demolition over off 611 across from Tasaki's, they did get a demo permit, so that building will be coming down hopefully before I believe it's December 4th is the requirement.
Nice.
So that should be going forward. Like I said, there is the one hearing for the Tent City, as we call it, that's coming up. Other than that, if there's any questions, I'll more than happy to answer.
Do we have any questions for Paul? Thank you. Chief Wagner?
Yes, thank you. Just briefly, I think Sunday I sent out the police report for the stats of the month of October. I'll just review those with the public now. We had 1,210 calls for service, 34 criminal arrests were made for the month, 18 summary arrests were made, and 32 traffic motor vehicle accidents were investigated. And patrol made 627 traffic contacts for the month. Those are the stats for the month of October. I just want to give you a brief update on our hiring. We started our lateral transfer applications, and we have 13 to date. We already did 2 interviews already, and we had one we liked, and we moved him forward to the background investigation. We have 2 interviews scheduled for later this week, so we're moving forward with that hiring process. So,
Anybody have anything for the chief?
thank you.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Belvin, Township Manager?
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing pressing tonight. Just with the Kenny's Way update, the Glenwood Hall sign was hung last week. At just the same aesthetic as all our other park signs. The plaques did come in for the historic walk, so Public Works will be getting them mounted over the next couple of weeks. As far as the PennDOT update goes, they are still confirming that they do not have to blast as of now, and they will be working on waterline relocation this week. So there's been a limited traffic pattern sent out on Savvy Citizen, and that will be ongoing until Friday. We did receive our figures from the control center, which did include a 10% increase for 2026. And we will have our liquid fuels audit ready for the next meeting.
Do you know what's going on at Route 611 and Staten Road with that excavation there, the steel plates?
That is for the changes for the car wash. They are updating the car wash, so they need to make some updates and changes to the water and sewer system.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else have anything for Mr. Melvin? Mr. Briegel?
Mr. Briegel had to step out.
No problem.
So I have his report. Water for this complex was connected last week. We are still under the boil water notice, but we are now connected to BCRA. Want to thank our Public Works Department. This was done entirely by them, aside from the backflow preventer and the fusing. And we went all the way from the Onvo to the back of this property. The sewer line was installed at the same time. Simplex pumps and grinders are hooked up. We are waiting for certification to get that online, but we expect sewer to be online by the end of next week. And then once that happens, we'll follow the proper steps to abandon the septic with DEP. But another massive savings to the township, keeping it in-house. So thank you to Public Works. The access control gate that was approved just about 2 months ago, they started installation of that today. Carbon replacement at Pump Station 5 has been going on. The new carbon was installed, and we're just waiting on inspection cleaning for that. And that Pump Station 5 with the carbon is what controls the odor. Leaf cleanup is still in progress. We did have our first leaf drop off following our Act 101 ordinance update. That was up at Mountain View Park, and we continue to do the will call as people, call for leaf pickup. Removal of dead trees. As everyone knows, it's been quite windy the past 2 days. Public Works has been extremely busy with down trees, down power lines. We had 2 traffic lights go down yesterday from blown fuses and everything else. LTAP program, continuing education, has been continuing. Erica, Jen, and Pat had attended that. And trucks and plows are being prepped for the winter. I know. And that's all I have, Mr. President. Sure. Yes. Yeah, that was yeah, they can submit online as well, and then we schedule. We're definitely going to submit for a grant for a new leaf sucker next year, as this one is 11 years old and it doesn't have the biggest, cubic yard box to it, but it definitely has picked up. We do. We coordinate it together.
We didn't really coordinate dates just because we didn't have that many people actually call in or email for the service. But it started as of yesterday. Pat organized the list today, or no, yesterday he organized the list. So then that way it was more better for when the Public Works went out, that it was more specified to certain areas. And I notified all the people that called in or emailed in to let them know when it would begin, and it would be starting yesterday, and they would be picked up this week.
I just think it would be more important, and maybe you're doing this because this is relatively new to people knowing.
Yeah.
Have this, but just set dates so that for maybe certain areas, I don't know.
Yeah, probably that's something to look into for next year, just because this year was just kind of like thrown at us. So
it's when they have availability too.
So yeah, that's the thing too, is that
Set the date and make sure they
yeah.
Yes and no. I mean, just perfect example, like the diffuser had called out on a day, which set everything back for the water line. The borer hit rock under a 611, so they'd come back the next day with the air drill. So
it snows.
Yeah, it's tree work, and so everything, we have plans, but things happen.
Maybe doing a zone type of structure and doing 3 or 4 days.
The leaf pickup. Yeah. And then, the past 2 weekends, we've had the leaf drop off at Mountain View Park as well.
That was successful also. Yeah.
Yeah. It was our first year doing it. We created the box that the Waste Authority had wanted to see for the compost. And just to update that with the park, the parts were ordered and the Farino had done the site inspection for the split system, so they expect that to be installed by the end of the month. No pun intended.
Do you need motions for those last two items on Patrick's agenda?
So the last one is going to be tabled to the next one. This one, we had kind of talked about our risk assessment through the insurance company. That being said, they had pointed out two different issues that they wanted to see, two policies that they had wanted to see adopted. The truck and trailering SOPs for basically the way you hook the hitch up, the way you cross the safety chains, make sure your brake controller is connected. It's in there, but it's a very basic document. The other one is we're just gonna table it. We'll probably bring it back to the next one. We're waiting for updated registrations from PennDOT with some updated weight ratings before we talk about the Class A.
I'll make a motion to adopt truck and trailering SOP for public works and park departments. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion by the commissioners. Anybody in the audience wish to make a comment? You, please. Jimmy.
Jim Pellegrini, Swiftwater. Jared, did I hear you say you could schedule leaf pickup online?
Yes.
Is the window closed?
Till the 21st.
21st.
The 21st is the deadline.
Of November?
Yeah.
Okay. And then I also heard you say you schedule it. So that means that you give the homeowner a day and a time when you might be there?
No, we are not scheduling.
You don't schedule it. Do you have any idea?
It's not that many people so far.
We will let you know in advance
Yes.
when they're going to be coming.
I'm just thinking about leaves blowing around and stuff like that, right? Fair enough. The next question is for Miss Ellen. Did you give your solar update?
Yeah, a long time ago.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any rumor to another solar farm off of Summit, or is that just a
Denied.
rumor?
As a matter of fact, he pulled the plan, right?
Yeah,
The
the
owner
plan
pulled
has
the
been
plan.
officially withdrawn, but we did send out denial letters as well.
And the zoning has been amended to prohibit solar in those areas.
On anything that's not
Impervious cover, right. But that was done because we had that application. They got in under the bell, but they didn't pursue it and they pulled it. So that has stopped.
That's great. Thank you.
Well, now there's a motion on the floor, actually, for truck and trailer SOPs. That's what the audience, is there anybody that wants to comment about that? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Okay, Township Engineers Report, Mr. Tressler.
Thank you, Rich. I'll be brief. The sewer business has been discussed already this evening. Learn Road Safety Project will go out to bid as directed by the board. TASA project, we're cleaning up some minor drafting issues. We did coordinate with PPL on the pole at the center of Old Mill Road, 611 and Learn Road, and they are going to move it at their expense, even after we avoided it for them, but they think it needs to be repaired at this point, so they're putting in a new pole. And the TLC walking bridge, we're working on demo plans and just about ready to submit the GP5 on that project. The other item that's not on my report, Back Mountain Road, that report will be issued probably tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest for the board's consideration. And that's all that I have unless there's questions.
Anybody have any questions for John?
Nope.
I've asked this before and I forget. The walking bridge between the baseball field and the park or between the ponds?
Between the ponds.
Thank you.
Anyone else? John, thank you very much. Mr. DeVito?
Thank you, Rich. We've discussed sewer. General legal update is we remain busy in our enforcement and helping zoning. Just want to add to the Learn Road easement process that all properties have been acquired, all temporary construction easements have been acquired. I think PPL has been notified to relocate their pole, but that is all in process. And when I say property was acquired, landowners either consented to or had their property taken by eminent domain and have been paid just compensation. So money has been been paid, and we have access to all the properties that are necessary for that project. With regard to the Pocono Jackson Joint Water Authority, commonly known as PJJWA, I have a draft ordinance that I finished reviewing today. I'll be circulating that to the board either tomorrow or no later than Wednesday. And I would ask that this matter be put on my agenda for next meeting for authorization to advertise the ordinance dissolving the PJJWA. That's all I have unless there are questions.
Anybody have any questions? Leo, thank you very much. I'll make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Hope he's dead. The show's over.
Where's Monica when I need her?
You hate today.